Hey everyone, we are back again with yet another game of Pandemic Legacy. I am Petter, I run the Malts Meeples channel as well as their Nerdologist website. We are playing, as I said, Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Last time, if you remember, we just barely lost one turn away and lost outbreaks, which I will reset now. I've done most of the setup for the game this time just because there was nothing new to read. With a legacy game, oftentimes you have new things to read, cards you tear up, or as you can see, we have stickers that kind of stick to the board. Yeah, we'll leave them be for right now. But we are playing September for the second time, so we have some funding. And just as a quick refresher, there was a new step, the network is expanding step in the rulebook here. So you have a chance to read that, but basically that means the first city that we place a disease cube on or a faded figure on gets a permanent, or gets a starting base, military base. Basically, we are trying to keep the number of military bases down. However, that is going to be a step that we have to deal with for 3 games, because we have 3 of those left. So we'll remember that when we get started here in 1 second. I've already shuffled in the we're starting first. Shuffled in the epidemic cards, and last refresher, this is for myself as well. Shitty background. Play any card matching the color of the city you're in. Perform a sabotage action. Hence why we're starting over there. However, I just realized I haven't done a full intro on the beer. So, this is a really shiny beer called Intuit from Modist Brewing. Made even shinier by the fact that it is sweating. I will be sweating by the end of this as well. So this is a raspberry lime lager. It's decent. It finishes too much like a lager, in my opinion. I like my ales a whole lot better than I like a lager. And you just, for something that advertises itself as raspberry and lime, you want it to finish, really finish with that note, or one of the two. You more get the raspberry up front and maybe fades into a little bit of lime, but you don't get much of the lime flavor. Let me double check that's right. Raspberry and lime lager. Also, while I continue this setup, if you are enjoying these videos, and that's where our military base goes, not the best spot, but not bad, in Moscow. If you're enjoying these videos, please do consider them giving them a like and a subscribe to the channel. Getting more hits on the channel is going to help grow the channel and hopefully get more people into playing board games solo. It's a fun time. Los Angeles gets 2. Oof, we are getting hit hard. Only one bye gets 2, and the last one with 2. Miami gets 2. And then London gets 1. Washington gets 1. And Bogota gets 1. So not a bad first step. Um, So I pulled Aurora goes first. She can spend this for one action. We have destroyed one of the 2 military bases we need to destroy. Let's find the sticker that marks them as destroyed. Somewhere in the stack. You get a lot of things to flip through. If I was playing with other people, there'd be a little bit less, but I'm keeping all the action sheets, which I wouldn't need to do otherwise. So that's one. Then I think we need to start quarantining. Quarantine here for 2. Might as well go here for 3 and clear that for 4. Looking for blues. And that's definitely not what I'm looking for. Baghdad. But London's good. That means we're going to be 1 short currently of being able to cure blue. That'd be nice to do that fast, get blue eradicated so we can upgrade it. I was working outside earlier today, and it's not extremely warm here. It was like 85, 86 for high today, but I'm 100% Norwegian, and I like cold. And this is hot and pretty humid, is not my cup of tea. So that was the first turn. I'll flip the 2 here. Joburg and Ho Chi Minh City. So my plan here is 1 here, 2 to Moscow, discard Moscow, blow up that new base, completing this objective. I'm going to remember to actually blow up the base this time. So we only have 1 permanent military base left on the board. Oddly enough, we're going to have to, I'll move back there for my last action. We're going to have to build, not the following game, but the game after that. If we continue to complete that objective, we're going to have to build military bases to blow them up, which is crazy. So we're drawing 2. Milan, and 1 Quiet Night. So we hit both of our events right away. Beijing gets a red, and Paris gets a blue. 1, 2, 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. End up in London. Reason I want to end up in London, this is now able to be grabbed, no problem. We have Lima. That gives us 6 cards, and Chennai. So Chennai is the good card in that it allows us to, here, it allows us to place 3 roadblocks immediately, and so we can kind of shut down, like we could shut down Moscow completely so that it isn't outbreaking. It would still get stickers that it's going more and more into distress, but it would not be outbreaking, causing us to place faded figures elsewhere. Also, the outbreak track would not be going down. So that will probably happen. So that turn is done. St. Petersburg, of course, another blue one. and Mexico City. So 1, 2, blue is cured. It's worth it. 3, 4. So now we only have one spot in danger of an outbreak, Karachi, and we have a few ways to mitigate that should we need to. Don't need to yet. We got C4, which would allow us to blow up a military base if we so desired. However, no need to do that anymore. It's more advantageous to leave those last two. So I guess we would have 2 more games being able to blow up military bases, not just one, so that we have them ready for next game. Bangkok gets a faded. Lima gets a yellow. So we have Aurora's turn. 1, 2, 3, and quarantine down here where we have the 3 of them for 4. Now we have nowhere that is capable of outbreaking right away, so that is great. Especially because I don't trust what I'm going to be pulling next. Shanghai and an epidemic. So even though I guess I'm only at 7 cards right there. So we're pulling the bottom one, Cairo. I'm actually going to use Resilient Population right now to pull Cairo. The reason being, I want to avoid any outbreaks over there that I can. Because if you start getting stuff to cascade, you could end up in a bad spot. And right now we have 2 quarantine markers on. Moscow loses quarantine, of course. And Shanghai gains a red cube. So he successfully stopped that outbreak. So then we are here. Looking at this, we have 1 yellow. We need 1 more yellow or 2 more reds. I think just 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3. Take these 3 off. 4, take 1 off adjacently. Might as well stay at that research center. Gives us the mobility as well as it. Now we're down to 1 red cube. Hey, we have our yellows. Yellow is cured. It's pretty sweet. Let's flip here. Karachi. Oof. And Los Angeles. Highlight is yellow. Not necessarily ideal there, but we can work with that. So 1, 2, 3 to get blue eradicated. There were 3 different locations, 4 different locations of blue that came up, so that's useful. Just gotta pick one of the 2 here. Let's do Karachi, because Moscow, well, yeah, obviously we don't want an outbreak. It is a better one to have outbreak if need be. And I can quarantine. So we have Paris and Cairo. So Cairo would outbreak if it got another, but it cannot get the 3rd one from this, We also have to discard a card, so we're going to use this at any time to go 1, 2. Moscow is now blocked off from everything. Can't get there if we wanted to. And then we'll go right there. Just saves us some options, splits up that section a little bit more, and we don't need to, well, we do need to get in there, but I'm hoping that with the quarantine specialist we'll be able to spam out a few pieces. Quarantines markers. So St. Pete, nothing happens. Johannesburg, gain yellow. So 1, I'm going to quarantine this for 2, go to Ho Chi Minh City for 3, I'm not even going to go to Ho Chi Minh City, never mind. I'm going to go here, take this off for, do I want to do that? Because I was here. So I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a better play simply because it cuts down one of those outbreak possibilities again for us. Algiers gains us, I always lose it, there we are. And Karachi, of course, Karachi will not lose its quarantine marker because we could not place an additional one on there anyways. So now we have this card that counts as any color, so we are only 1 red card short of a cure. So we just need to start getting out Bogota, those quarantine markers in Ho Chi Minh City. So, starting Aurora's turn, we'll go quarantine marker in Cairo. It's never going to go away because we removed Cairo from there, but fairly solid card to have. I'm going to discard Baghdad to move here. So that's 2 actions. This is not an action to blow up one of these for 3, or for not an action. 3 to quarantine here. Ah, crap, I have to get out somehow. Did not think that one through. What level? It's only a level 1, so I can just fly using this card to Paris. And if I remember correctly, if you take a direct flight being, I always forget which is charter, which is direct being discarding and moving to, so I don't even have to get rid of Paris to do that. So instead I think I'm going to go to Shanghai. It'll be more useful to be on that side, plus it gives me an easier access into quarantining up here. Let's see what we flip. Essen and Seoul. So now we have enough cards to be able to cure red. Beijing gains red, and Miami gains a yellow. All in all, not bad. Start 1, 2, 3, go adjacent, 4, but I'm not actually going to do that as much as I want to, because I want to pass this card over for 4, which then allows us to cure red, completing our mandatory objective. So we're done with the mandatory objective. We still have to quarantine 7 fated cities. We have 3 of those taken care of. Let's see what we draw here. An epidemic, of course, and Miami. So it's not the end of the world here. Though Delhi is pretty crappy one to get. we're just going to have to be aggressive about quarantining the the faded territories. We are going to use one quiet night right now. The reason for that is we do have a spot that can blow up. We have 3 quarantines. Let's see if we can win this really fast, since this has been 20 minutes thus far. But we just had a little bit of luck, and it's gone really well. So first for Monroe, quarantine there for 1. Move here for 2. Quarantine here for 3. And move here for 4. So we have 5 of the 7 we need. If we make it back to Aurora's turn. However, that is way less than ideal, because we just pulled Calcutta. Calcutta, right where I'm at, is going to outbreak. So for the first time, we are going to have, and had I been thinking about this, I probably wouldn't have gone where I did, a scar. Because Calcutta outbreaks. Fortunately, Calcutta outbreaking only means these 2 gain, because these 2 lose their quarantines. Increase the outbreak counter by 1. But before we go any further, we need to give her a scar. So the scars that we have, it takes 1 more action to quarantine? No. It takes 1 more action to drive her ferry if you're in a city with faded? No. You cannot share knowledge except with someone you have a relationship with? Yeah. So some of these, obviously, that'd be a little bit tougher decision in a game with more players. However, with only 2 of us, I'm going to have a relationship with whatever characters are in there. So Ho Chi Minh City gains 1, and Karachi loses it. I'm also going to be gaining another scar at the start of my next turn, which is going to suck. So I'm looking here to see. I'm going to discard Karachi for 1, quarantine Karachi for 2, move to Tehran for 3, and quarantine Tehran for 4. Multiple reasons for doing that. That keeps us safe from an outbreak. Also gets us back up to 4 quarantine markers, which is nice. Let's see what we're drawing. Doesn't matter as much now, though drawing Mumbai is less than ideal, because now that is at the brink. Bogota, that is fine. So 1. Los Angeles. 2. St. Petersburg, nothing. So let's see. Start of my turn. I am in a city with faded. Aurora Monroe gets a scar. If you have more than 2 equipment cards, you must discard the rest. But we're going to go with indecisiveness, which basically says you may not build roadblocks. I don't think I've ever built a roadblock with her, so these are 2 things that really won't affect her that much. But now we need to start quarantining. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 locations are faded. Flip that over. 24 minutes, including something like that, including intro. See what it says over here. You got 25 minutes, basically, including intro, and the game is over. We have, we won fast. That was really nice after that fairly long slog, and we had a big chunk before the next epidemic. So, as I'm starting to collect here, we get a so we can either, next month, advance all search parties one space, or add an equipment sticker to a city of card in a player's hand. That's pretty good. Toss that one extra card in the trash. Now let's go through, and probably the biggest lifesaver was getting these two so early, because technically had we been like another 3 cards, something like that, actually wouldn't have killed us. Wouldn't have really had that much of an issue until we got down to there. But let's write down our results on 6/26 for Peggy, Carter, and Monroe with a win. So we'll be back next time in October with 0 funding again. And let's do our upgrades quickly. For sure, the one we're doing, it allows us to no longer takes an action to discover a cure for blue. We're going to be able to cure everything fast because of that. And now we have a whole bunch of other options that we can't do another upgrade on that disease. We don't have anything permanent that I want to put down here because I don't want to make those roadblocks permanent. That means we have our choices of the various equipment stickers. Drone Escort is pretty solid. We have some character upgrades. More equipment. We have the option for a one-time event to nuke something. I don't think I'm going to do that. Have an airstrike event we could add, as well as a couple more over here. Looking at the top 2 infection cards, discard a card to draw a card of the same color from the player discard pile. That might be pretty good for Peggy. Grizzled, don't gain a scar when the city outbreaks. That would be nice for Aurora. Increase the hand limit by 1. So we have to think about this too, because it's going to go on Peggy. We're going to make Peggy, what are these options again? We have discard the card, we have parachute. I think we're going to actually do these. What I was considering was the chopper pilot, which would allow her to cross a roadblock. However, we haven't had to do that more than a couple times, so not much. We're not going with the nuke. There's black card without a sticker. And the reason I'm sticking them on the black cards, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should spread it out a little bit. Let's do 2 yellows and a black card. And we're using all of these. Parachute, this just basically allows us to fly into rioting and collapsing cities. So we only have one collapsing city in Delhi. So that's the only way to get in there. Well, not the only way, it costs a card otherwise. And another grenade belt to remove a faded figure is always good, especially since we don't have anybody that we play with who can kill faded figures. But managed to draw it out to 30 minutes. So I think that's good enough for today. This was really fast. I don't think I'll be back until next week. Probably Tuesday, Wednesday again. If not that, Wednesday, Thursday. So I guess until then, bottoms up.